9:05, and Executive Director Lawrence, if you'll call the roll so we can establish the quorum.
Commissioner Andrews is present. Commissioner Barker is absent. Commissioner Elam
Here.
is present. Commissioner Evans is present. Commissioner Galvin
Here.
is present. Commissioner Jackson
Here.
is present. Commissioner Kramer
Here.
is present. Commissioner Levy is absent. Commissioner Lee is absent. Commissioner Melton is present. Commissioner Norton
Here.
is present. Commissioner Speaker is absent. Commissioner Vaughn
Here.
is present. Commissioner Watson is absent. Commissioner West is absent. And Chairman Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Yes, and Denise, let's go ahead and address the meetings in the future at this
Perfect.
point. And let's make sure that we know we start at 9:30, whether or not we start the legal at 8:30 or 9, according to how many cases we have.
Okay, so I think the chairman, we just want to make clear that going forward, and this is my miscommunication and I apologize, we will start our regular quarterly meetings at 9:30. And I will stress that we may, depending upon the length of the legal report, the legal committee may have to start at 8:30. Typically, we will endeavor to have them start at 9 o'clock. That gives all of the people that have so far to drive from East Tennessee and West Tennessee a little bit more time to get here without, breaking the speed limit. Okay?
Everybody was sent the meeting notice, and it's all legal.
I'll go ahead and read that for the
Okay.
record. This meeting's date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission website. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the website since October 10th. This meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website.
You need to vote on that, or no?
Now we're
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, the agenda. Everybody got the agenda. What's your pleasure on adopting it?
Commissioner Jackson, motion about the agenda.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes, everybody got to view the minutes, and what's your pleasure on the minutes?
Motion to adopt the minutes. Chairman Norton, sorry.
All right, that's okay. You be next, Chairman. You be next.
Take this away from me.
Any further discussion on the minutes? Do we need to roll call vote that?
Your pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
I don't think so. I think we're okay. I don't think there's any contention. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Abstain? Okay.
Uh,
And anyway, at this moment, let me go ahead and now, before we get into the next business, we've got a new commissioner, Nelson Andrews, and he's with us today for his first meeting, and glad to have you on board.
Good to be here. Thank you very much.
All right. Next is salesperson dealer appeals appearances.
But before we get to that, and I'll turn it over to Sveta, if we could, you might notice that there is a document at your desk, which is my attempt to list all of the upcoming hearings that we have scheduled for next year. You'll notice that there is one hearing that is marked tentative 4 separate times. The reason is we're waiting on the judge. I had to reserve dates for that hearing, and we're waiting on the ALJ to tell us which date she wants. So I'll send out a revised list, but I wanted to give you as much advance notice as possible for your schedules.
And we'll have that date on November 18th. That's when I have a
Right.
meeting with the judge.
And those, for what I just saw, it was like most of them were well into next year. So I just really think that we should just give the hard dates of what we know and not get everybody confused. And then we'll inform them as long as we give them plenty of time when we've said it, if that's okay. All right. Salesperson dealer appeals. Who's going to take that?
That would be me, Mr. Roberts. Hi, my name is Sveta Todorova Kelly. You don't have to worry about the name. I am the new program attorney for your commission. I actually have been working on worked for the commission for about 6 months now, but this is the first time I've been able to attend the meeting because I had a time conflict with one of my other boards. So I'm really happy to be here, meet you all. Would love to connect after the meeting as well. As I said, I've been working on Fresh Start Act for the commission for the last 6 months. And today, I believe we have, let me see the total, we have 6 appeals. The first one is Mr. Chamberlain. And I will give a brief overview of the reason for the denial. If you have any questions, please let me know if you'd like to know anything additional than what I mentioned. So Mr. Chamberlain applied for a salesperson's license with us. It was denied based on a criminal convictions that did not clear the Fresh Start Act analysis. More specifically, there were 7 convictions in total. Only about 5 of them, though, were fit the moral turpitude analysis and did not clear the time frame required by the Fresh Start Act. I guess I should mention the first one was solicitation to commit robbery, the second one was theft, and then the third, fourth, and fifth was also theft. There was an additional reason here for the denial, and that was when our office first received the application, Mr. Chamberlain only provided documentation for one of his convictions. Then when I inquired further, I discovered that there were 6 additional convictions that were not initially disclosed to us. By statute, the commission does have the discretion to deny based on not providing information as far that relates to material fact. Here, in light of Fresh Start Act, these convictions would be a material fact that were omitted on the application. So that was an additional reason for the denial, and I think it's actually a more relevant reason for the denial, along with the Fresh Start Act analysis that was not cleared. I'm not sure if he is in the audience, but this is...
Mr. Chamberlain, are you here? Why don't you come up at this time and come to the podium for us? This is a time we can go ahead and let him address us.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Mr. Chamberlain, if you'd like to, just address us and tell us what your story is.
Well, I'm from Knoxville, and in my past, I got involved in some things that I wasn't proud of, and I'm just trying to find a career path, and I'm just trying to do the next right thing. I'm trying to better my life.
Can you tell us what our attorney just read out about you leaving things off your application? And
there was some confusion on my half because I had to get a certain document from the judge on a certain kind of document where he signed off on it, and so I didn't know if it all was compacted into one or not. So I went to my courthouse and I got the document that I thought was right. Well, I had it sent over, and it turned out to not be the right document. So then I had to call the courthouse, and they emailed me the correct list, and then I emailed it to I think the attorney that I was speaking with at the time, and all of the information was supposed to have been sent over that way. But I had stayed in good contact with them throughout the process through email.
And I can attest to that. He has been very responsive. Not unlike some other people that I've had to, be in this situation with. So I would like to give Mr. Chamberlain credit there. He was very responsive, got the information to us as soon as he could, stayed in contact. So I would like to put that on the record as well.
Found him to be very forgiving with the information.
I did, yes.
Okay. Commission members, anybody got a question for him?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a few questions. Can you tell us what happened? Like, what's the crime? What's the circumstance?
I have a long list of charges, but
Well, go ahead and start. Tell us about it.
yeah, back when I was 18, I was actually at a party with some friends, and we were drinking, and I caught the robbery charge for taking a pizza from a pizza man. And they gave me a solicitation of robbery for it. There was no other violence or anything like that involved. Literally just took the pizza, and I caught a felony when I turned 18 for doing that. And then after that, I struggled with a little bit of drug use, and that's what caused me to catch the theft charges. And then I sought help after that and got into recovery. And I'm currently on probation, and I'm doing well with them. I had to get permission from them to even come here, and I was trying to get some letters of recommendation, but I didn't get the time frame in right. Am I supposed to hold this?
Just stand closer to it. If you don't mind, please tell me more about the theft charges, the second one that you were telling us.
Yeah, the theft charges are, I was around stolen vehicles, and I got caught in a stolen vehicle on 3 different occasions. So that caused me to catch those theft charges.
No, they were stolen.
Yes, I did.
Did you steal them yourself?
Yes, I did.
Did you make restitution to whoever you stole from?
I'm currently making payments on restitution. I don't know if you guys are able to see the receipts, but I do pay every month.
And also, what about, you said that you had a drug problem. You've gone to treatment?
Yes, I have, and I'll have a year clean on December 1st.
Other questions?
Any weapon involved in it?
No, sir.
No weapon. Just what you did, just walked up to him and snatched it and took off.
No, he just came to the door, and me and my buddies, we just opened the door and just grabbed the pizza out of his hand, and then just walked back inside and closed the door behind us. And it was considered strong arm robbery, but I didn't get charged with strong arm. I just got charged with solicitation because I was the guy who ordered the pizza.
One more question. How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Lisa answered when you was 18. What about the theft, the stolen vehicles?
That was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
I have one more question this is actually for the commission. Do we have all the documentation about his convictions and everything that we need?
I have them. I'm not sure if they're in your packets, but I have them on my side.
And does that document show he is making restitution? I was trying to look for it in the document. Okay.
That is normally not information that is in those final judgments that we are provided. That is normally something kept with the probation or with his attorney or just on that side. What we get typically is a final judgment or a list of charges with how he was charged, how he was, how it ended up, what it ended up being, and then if there was any sentence as far as time for jail or so forth.
Okay. Is anyone here with you from the dealership?
Yes, sir.
I'd like for them to come forward.
Hey, would you like to address
Sure,
this?
sure. I'm Dustin Graham with Viles Automotive Group in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
I met Tyler at the car wash. I was getting my daughter's car washed one day, and he actually sold me a membership. And we had some guys leave the dealership. We're looking for salespeople, so I kind of recruited him to come over, try and sell cars for us, and didn't know at the time of his history. We think that he's a good man, just trying to, right his wrongs.
How long has he worked for you all?
Well, we haven't been able to employ him yet.
Okay.
That's what we're hoping to do.
Okay.
So it's been that was about, I think, 3 months ago when we first started this process. So.
A few months is that. Any other questions from commission members?
What do you mean when you employed him? Did you question him about his past in regarding the last year incident where he stole 3 different cars on just last year. Did you have a conversation with him about that? Or did he bring it up?
Well, we on our application, we kind of discussed his history and that he was on probation. And at that times when we realized that we would have to come before you guys before we could actually get a license. But we believe in second chances. I mean, we could maybe put him in jail or in the shop somewhere, but we couldn't allow him to sell cars. Absolutely.
Commissioner Norton, for the staff, I'm still unclear of the confusion of the number of charges. Can you clear that up?
Yes, just 1 second. Let me pull it up. So there are a total of 7 charges, but only 5 of them are moral turpitude. So we may receive someone's record that contains a number of charges, but if not all of them are moral turpitude, or I guess I should say we only analyze the ones that would be moral turpitude, and then we'll look at the time frame. So in this case, there were 7 total. The ones that involved moral turpitude are the solicitation to commit robbery and the theft charges. The other ones were simple possession and evading arrest, but those are not moral turpitude. So we're not concerned about analyzing those under First Start Act.
They presented himself.
Only one, only the solicitation to commit robbery, which is the oldest one. We didn't his initial application did not contain information as far as the theft charges that were the more recent ones. I think one of them is even was committed about 10 months ago. And so that was when I inquired with him, and he provided that information subsequently.
That's where I was confused. Staff's opinion that it wasn't very forthcoming. Does the staff feel like that information was withheld?
As far as on the initial application, when applicants for salesperson's license initially fill out their application, they are required to answer whether they've had any criminal convictions. When they answer yes, then they have to submit additional documentation. In this case, and unfortunately in some other ones as well, and I'm not sure if it's picking and choosing on purpose, if it's intentionally or not, but we have found that at times people don't always provide the full information as far as their record. Again, I cannot speak as far as why that happens, but in this case, we only received one, and not the full record.
Commissioner Jackson, I heard you say that when you was trying to get this additional information, you had to go through a lot of different changes. Share that again with me so I can.
On the initial application, I thought I only had to put my felony charge. So I put the felony charge. And then when I went to the courthouse, I thought that all of it was included with the one document with the judge's signature. I thought that maybe that was the one that you'd be able to get all the information from. So it was my fault on providing the wrong information. And then that's why whenever I contacted them the next time, they contacted me, I was able to go and get everything that they needed and send it over to them.
More questions for Mr. Chamberlain?
I have a question for the staff. So when would he be eligible per our statute?
So there are a few different dates here. For the solicitation to commit robbery, it will be in August of 2023. The second theft will be in August of 2023. And then the theft charges that are 3 through 5 will be in January of 2027.
What's your pleasure on this license?
Personally, I'm a little uncomfortable with the time frame and the not giving all the information from the very beginning. And that's what we've done. We've had a history of if somebody marks no felony convictions, but they had them in the past or left incomplete the information, we've had a history of upholding denials for that. And there's no reason why he couldn't reapply at a later date, but I do have pause for the incomplete information.
Well, the same way. Do we have a motion to grant this Mr. Chamberlain a license or not?
I don't know if this is history, but people
He can reapply immediately.
reapply anytime.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we uphold the denial. You have a discussion?
Before you do that, I have one more question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
For the gentleman who came to represent you. So are you concerned at all with kind of the conversation that's happening about the perception that information was withheld? I mean, you will be employing this gentleman.
Yeah, I believe it's an honest mistake on his part. You know, I think it states, I think he was under the impression that it was his felony convictions. His other convictions are misdemeanors. So he's sending the information on the felony conviction, withholding the information on the misdemeanor conviction just based on his perception. I don't think there was any intent to mislead you guys in any way.
Do you feel that he has been forthright and forthcoming with all of the information for you specifically? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jackson, valid point you just brought up, Commissioner Evans. The theft of the cars, I'm asking the staff that, was that a felony convict, the theft of those cars?
No, those were a misdemeanor. The only felony is the solicitation to commit robbery, which is the first one. But I have just consulted with Jason just to get a confirmation that the application asks for, have you been convicted of a crime, pled nolo contendere, or have been convicted of a felony? I understand it could be a little confusing, but technically that distinction is there because not all felonies are not all charges are felonies, not all felonies are necessarily moral turpitude. What Fair Start Act cares about is whether it's moral turpitude, not whether it's a felony or not. There could be a misdemeanor that's a crime of moral turpitude, but it's not necessarily, that high of a category as a felony.
Commissioner Galvin, so stealing 3 cars is a misdemeanor? Is that what you're telling us?
It depends. I guess in Tennessee and the way that these cases were resolved.
Is now exiting.
Those were misdemeanors.
Okay.
I guess I don't know the law very well, but in my eyes, that's a serious defense. But back to this case right here, I agree with Commissioner Vaughn. This case is just too. I don't feel comfortable with it. I think we need to make a motion.
About that. She's got it.
I
second it.
I second.
Any further discussion? Let's have roll call on this motion, okay? Denise? Okay.
Motion is to deny licensure, and motion was made by Commissioner Vaughn, seconded by Commissioner Galvin. Commissioner Speaker, you want to abstain? Abstains. Commissioner Melton?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Elam?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews? Aye. Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
No.
Votes no. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Commissioner Barker, you want to abstain? The motion carries. The application for licensure is denied.
It'll apply later. Just it's our decision today, okay?
Later.
not really defined, is it?
It's not really defined. I mean, just from my perspective, I would say I think the commission would be looking for consistency in your employment there. And so if you came back in maybe 6 months and you were still working there, and we're in good standing and have complied with all the terms, I think they would be absolutely willing to hear it again. And letters of
Could be
recommendation.
less, or it could be,
Yeah.
whatever.
Letters of recommendation would be very helpful as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next one is James Robert Davenport. You'd like to tell us about this one?
Yes. So Mr. Davenport applied for a salesperson's license as well. He had 3 criminal convictions. The first one was sale of Schedule 2 methamphetamine. Second one was sale of Schedule 2 fentanyl. And then 3 was manufacture of methamphetamine. All 3 were felonies. The time period for which Fresh Start Act is concerned here, the 5-year period for the first offense will be up in May of 2033. The second one will be in May of 2029. And for the third one, it will be in January of 2028. All of these convictions are moral turpitude. The sale and manufacturing of drugs is considered moral turpitude, so that's where that check mark comes from. I'm trying to see. I know you asked on the last case as far as when the commission of the crime occurred. The first one, the offense was committed in May of 2014. The second one, it was committed in November of 2016, and then I guess I apologize. The second one, that was this sale of scheduled methamphetamine, was committed in 2016, and then the sale of fentanyl was committed in 2017. There was nothing additional here that I was aware of, like we were aware of this last one. We didn't get any kind of proof of, or I guess information on rehabilitation. I'm not sure if he's in the audience and could address the commission, but that's all I have on this case.
Is Mr. Davenport here? Would you like to come up and address us?
Yeah, I was in the car business for like 25 years, and then I kind of left, and like he said, I kind of got into the drug era, and I got a little, I got a little sideways. I'm sorry. Got a little sideways, and, I caught my charges, and I did what I had to do, and I made some changes. I'm 5.5 years clean now. I don't do anything that, I'm just trying to reestablish my life, put myself in a better position where I can actually do something and get things back on track. I know I made mistakes. I did do that. But I'm also trying to do the next right thing now, And I'm just hoping y'all give me an opportunity to, do what I know how to do. Like I say, I was in the car business for 25 years. So I know I can come back if I'm given an opportunity.
I have a
Commissioner
question.
Jackson. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Commissioner Melton. Are you in any rehab program now?
No, I went through a 9-month drug program, and I quit. I had somebody, they said, are you going to meetings? I said no, because I'm not trying to quit doing that. I quit doing that. I don't do that no more. And I know a lot of people, they're like, you never get better. I'm better. My life is not about that anymore. I don't associate with those people. I don't think the same, act the same, do the same. I just want to do right. You know, I just want to try to put my life back together.
Other questions from commissioners?
Well, 3.5 of it was in prison for my charges, and then when I got out, I did 9 months at a pilot truck stop, and then I've worked with Rocky Williams since about June as basically a clerk for Max Sands. I go get his cars, I fill out his paperwork, I do basically anything he needs to do to make his job easier. And I'm hoping that when I can go back, that I can step into the role that I actually know how to do.
Why did you leave Pilot Truck Stop?
For the Rockies.
Okay.
Did you bring anybody with you?
Brought my general manager.
Okay. Would he like to come up and address us? State your name and your position.
Billy Mullinax. I'm the general manager at Rocky Williams, Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram, and have been there since 2012. Rob had worked for Rocky back before he got into all the trouble for quite some time. He did mess up, get in some trouble, and after Rob, and he served his time, after he got out of prison, he came to us seeking employment at that time. And Rocky and I both talked, and we felt that we needed more time from him being out of prison, because I want to see stability. I want to see somebody that can stay out of trouble, being on the outside. And so 9 months after he got out, and we had talked to him after he got out, he came back to us. And he had been at the same place for the entire time, cashiering. And they really did not want to see him go, to be honest with you. But Rob has been helping us around the dealership, doing just whatever needs doing. If it's go filling up a car, if it's go wash a car, if it's filling out some paperwork for somebody, helping somebody go get a car off the lot, he's been there. And the time that he's been there, I don't think he has missed a single day. If he has, I can't recall it. We do drug tests every employee at our dealership, and we pride ourselves in having a Christian environment and operating our dealership by Christian principles. And that's the way we operate. And we don't tolerate a lot of nonsense, profanity, drug use. We don't tolerate those kind of things. And if I felt at all like that was a concern, I can assure you, first of all, he wouldn't be here today, but I certainly wouldn't be here today to represent him. But he is, he's living with his daughter now. He's reestablishing those family connections, and I think he's doing a great job, working hard, and I believe the young man deserves a chance. He's been, it's been since 17, since his last conviction, if you will, and I believe he has honestly turned his life around. Thank you.
Any questions for either one of them?
Question for Billy. You mentioned do you drug test just on employment, or do you do periodic drug testing or drug tests on incident?
We normally, Commissioner, just drug test upon employment. But we don't have, if I ever suspected something, I will drug test somebody, and we have in the past drug tested people after employment. And we've had a couple of instances where our suspicions were correct and those people were terminated.
So in a situation like this, does a dealership have a policy in place for a specific testing process?
No, sir. It would only be if we deemed it necessary through actions. And typically when you have those type of habits, if you will, you start seeing people coming in late, missing work, very inconsistent with their performance at work, and that's what we would base. But as far as a written policy, we really do not have one. It's just based on what we see.
So it sounds like an informal policy of testing on incident if there's a reason for suspicion or a valid reason to test.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Barker, I would just simply state, my business, my dealership's in Mount Juliet. I know all about Rocky Williams, and I know the culture there is I don't think they would offer this position if it's the perfect culture for someone that's on that track or that's coming back. So I would, I will put this in the form of a motion unless there's further discussion, but knowing what I know about that group, I would trust the judgment of Rocky Williams and that culture that they've established there to make sure that this person has every opportunity to succeed. That would be my opinion. I'm happy to put that in the form of a motion unless there's further discussion.
Go ahead and do that this time.
I'll make a motion that we grant him his license.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Any further discussion? If you'll give us a roll call vote on the license.
The motion is to grant licensure to Mr. Davenport. Commissioner Speaker? Yes. Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Elam?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. The motion passes.
Thank you very much.
We will email you an electronic copy of your license today, and then you'll get the hard copy in the mail. Thank you.
All right, next is Jared Godbrick.
Chairman Roberts, this is Commissioner Melton. I need to recuse myself from this one, please.
Are you going to be a witness for him?
I am.
If you are, just go ahead and step over there for a moment, and then we'll bring you right back. Would you like to give us the background on this?
Yes, Mr. Dobrik submitted an application for a salesperson's license. In his application, he did respond to yes to having had a criminal conviction or a felony. What was provided to us was a charge for identity theft in the 3rd degree. The date for which would be a more interpreted crime. The date that the 5-year period as required by Fresh Start Act will be up is November of 2021. However, when the charges were from a different state, and so I needed to go and do some additional research. I got onto that state's criminal website where you could look up convictions and so forth. And when I did that, 2 additional convictions came up that were more recent. And so that is when my office became aware of a similar situation where not the full information was provided to us. Then we inquired further with Mr. Dobrik. He eventually did provide us with the additional information on the additional charges. Those were, as you can see, second was a larceny in the 4th degree, and the third one was a larceny in the 2nd degree. Those ones are more recent, so then that puts the 5-year period at 2019 and 2025. That is another reason that the commission could deny and did deny in this case was the the missing information, essentially. In this case, that actually would have granted the commission discretion to deny based on those. If we were just looking at what was initially provided, I think the commission of the crime was from 2013 on that first charge. The commission technically, with that information, would not have had the discretion to deny. And so after I received and got confirmation of those additional charges, that is when I discovered the commission could deny based on those charges, also could deny based on the fact that they were not provided to us initially.
Hey, is Mr. Dodbrook here? Come on down and address us. Tell us what your story is.
So the additional charge that wasn't shown, I was under the impression it was a conditional discharge, which means
A little closer.
After the 2-year period that it went away. I was a finance director at a dealership, and my cousin had purchased the vehicle. I took a personal check from him, which was not policy. Usually we required certified funds. At the time when it arose, I was away on vacation in Arizona for 2 weeks. Notified by one of the partners of the dealership that it had happened. Somebody was house sitting for me, so I had them bring a check over to the dealership to clear funds. It was a family member of mine that wrote the check. I didn't get back in time for the 2-day period that the owner had funds. Got back, I filed.
Closer.
They had filed for the warrant. I had the funds available. At the time, the attorney told me to wait until charges were brought. When I went to court, we paid the funds all up front at that time, made full restitution at it, and I was living out of state at the time when everything went through, and was told that it was a conditional discharge where it was 2 years. If there was no charges, nothing happened at that point. It went away. So that was why.
Can I quickly interrupt? Has nothing to do with you, but we have several people that have joined us online, and several of you are actually not muted. We've tried to mute you repeatedly, so this is just kind of fair warning. If you don't mute yourself and stay muted, we're going to have to kick you off, and that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
And in the automotive industry for better myself and also better the dealership where I'm currently at, and I'm here today.
Any questions from commissioners? Anything?
Actually, Commissioner Vaughn, I have a few questions. So gambling was the issue?
Originally back in 2011, 2013, I had a gambling issue. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure you probably have already told. Did you make full restitution on
Yes, ma'am.
on everything that you've done so far? Okay. Have you ever come before the Motor Vehicle Commission before?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay.
Had states that time in Tennessee. I came December, actually January, out store.
Commissioner Melton, do you want to say a few words?
Hello, Commissioner. I have never done this before, so I completely back JD. He has, I back his character. I back everything about him. Very comfortable with him. I believe in him, and so does all the managers. We do have our general sales manager here today, too. Also run Our core values are, one part of our core values is a heart of service, and JD has that. He will do anything for you. He will help you. He's just a great guy. I've met his mother. I've had dinner with his mother before. She is very supportive of him. He's got lots of people that care about him, and he is very much set up for.
I have a question. So will you be his direct supervisor?
Actually, Scott Baker will be, which is my general sales manager that's here today. But I can be his direct supervisor too. And I will hold him accountable.
Just had to think of something. That's right. All are through with questions on this
Mr.
appeal.
Jackson, I motion that we grant him the license.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll?
I will be happy to. The motion is to grant licensure to Mr. Dobruck. Commissioner Speaker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton? Abstains. Commissioner Elam?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Commissioner Andrews? Votes aye. The motion carries.
Okay. You get electronic license.
You'll get an
this
electronic
afternoon.
copy today, and then we'll mail you your hard copy. Thank you.
All right. Next case is Timothy Engel.
Yes, Mr. Engel submitted an application for a salesperson's license. He did answer yes to having had a criminal conviction. That is for the purposes of First Start Act. It was a battery charge that had to do with family violence, domestic violence charge. It is a crime of moral turpitude, as I mentioned, and the 5-year period for this charge would expire in October of 2027. I know on your memos there are other charges that are listed, but since those are not moral turpitude, I would like to refrain from discussing them. They're not relevant for today's discussion. I have spoken to Mr. Engel. He did provide us some more information as far as his rehabilitation that is included in the memo. I'm not sure if there he is, would like to address you.
Go ahead at this time.
Good morning. Thank y'all for your time, for being here and your consideration. I think you're wrong on those time frames because I'm off probation. Everything's done. I'm done with probation. I actually finished last Saturday. But
well, yeah, and you're right. And the way the First Start Act looks at it is you were done on the 22nd.
Yes,
from
ma'am.
what I have,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then First Start Act adds another 5 years.
Oh,
and
okay.
so
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
yeah, and that's where that comes from. So yes, he has completed his probation, but the 5 years that's added on for First Start would be 2027.
Apologize, I misunderstood you. I don't know what First Start is, but I had an altercation with a girlfriend. It got out of hand. I left. I was on drugs and alcohol. Got pulled over. I went to jail. I was already on probation for drugs before, so I went to jail. I asked for rehabilitation. I went to prison. I led the whole RSAT, the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program. I was the senior coordinator over the whole program. I was right under the warden of the prison. I'm rehabilitated. I moved up here to Tennessee. I've worked in the car industry for almost 20 years. 2006, January 2006. I've been a salesperson. I moved up to a manager in 4 years. I've been a manager since 2010. It's pretty embarrassing me even being up here. You didn't have to do this in Georgia, but you didn't have to have a license in Georgia. But I got a $250,000 in the bank. I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm rehabilitated.
Questions?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a question or two. So it was battery, domestic
Yes, ma'am.
issue.
With a girlfriend, yes.
Are you still with her?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any contact with her?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you go to any type of AA or?
I have, and I don't
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
Mr. Jackie, did you keep those courses?
I've completed everything. Family violence or the, I don't even remember what you call it. All the drug programs. I went through so many programs. Y'all have no idea. Yes, I've completed everything.
Commissioner Vaughn, I have one more question. Have you had any kind of trouble since all of this happened? No issues?
Did you bring anybody with you today?
Yes, sir.
Who would that
General
be?
Manager, Mr. Seagraves.
If he'd like to address us, come on up. Tell us your name for the record and what your position is.
My name's Brian Seagraves. I'm General Manager for East Tennessee Nissan.
Okay.
I've known Tim for probably 15 years. He's had some stuff in the past that he's not proud of, and he's been trying to run from it ever since. We've worked together in Georgia for probably 13, 14 years. I moved up here about 2 years ago, took over a dealership in Cookeville. 5 months ago, they asked me to move to one of our stores in Morristown. So I've been there, and they needed some salespeople, and I know he's a really good salesperson, and he wanted to get his foot in the door at a big company, and so I asked him to come up here, and we're really going into all of it blind because, like I said, we didn't have sales license in Georgia and things like that. So, I mean, I'll vouch for him. I mean, my kids call him Uncle Tim, so you know. So.
Questions, commissioners? Either person.
Mr. Jackson, I motion that we grant the license.
Commissioner Melton, I second it.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, if you'll call the roll, please.
The motion is to grant licensure. Commissioner Speaker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Elam? Aye. Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye.
Thank you,
Motion
Jackson.
passed.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
How did I skip? I am so shorty. I apologize. The motion carries unanimously.
You will, like the others, you'll get an electronic copy this afternoon. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for your time. Thank you.
Next case is Chelsea Davis.
Yes, Ms. Davis applied for a salesperson's license. She also had a felony conviction in the second degree. It was for dealing in stolen property. That would be a moral turpitude crime. The time period, there were two different charges. So the 5-year time period for the first one will be up in April of 2023, and for the second one will be up in December of 2022 of this year. I would like to make a little correction on my previous statement. The 5-year requirement is the motor vehicle statute requirement in light of Fresh Start Act. Not necessarily the Fresh Start Act, but it's the way the motor vehicle statute is written. I did try to get in touch with Ms. Davis, but I was unable to do so. Since one of her charges will be up a little sooner than the other one. I'm not sure if she is in the audience or not, but I've not been able to contact her.
Davis, come on up and address us.
So I'm not sure why we haven't had contact. This has went through my human resources. Carolyn Green, and she's given myself and manager all the updates, and I've sent over paperwork, my final judgment, all my completions from my program.
Yes, and we have those.
And the charge was from 2014. So I'm just a little confused on the information that you just said.
Well, so the way that charges are being evaluated is not from the time of the charge, but it will be the latest date of release, probation, or parole, whichever one is last. And then from that date on, 5 years is being added. And so the dates I have on here, 2018 and 2017 of the latest date of release, probation, or parole, and then we add 5 more years per statute. And so that is where we come with those dates. I called the dealership, I think about 3 times on separate different occasions, and I've just was not able, and that's not normally something that we do. I'm not required to do that, but I do it, and I was not able to get in touch, but we did receive all the information, so there was nothing necessarily that we were missing on this one.
A little closer to the mic.
Speak. You need to hit speak so we can hear you.
Yep, it's on there. So I've completely changed my life around since this charge. Unfortunately, like the others, it was all endured because of, addiction, drug and alcohol. I ended up in jail. I did 3 months in Project Recovery in Collier County. This all happened in Florida. And from there, I went into a faith-based program for a year. I graduated from there in 2017, January, and I worked for the church then for about a year, and I found a job at LaBelle Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Florida. I worked for them selling cars for 3 years, and we recently moved up here in August. We were here, and I started working with Cumberland Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. So getting the license was a surprise to me that it was a concern. And I just would hope for the opportunity. I love it here, and we're closer to some family, and would just, like I said, completely changed my life around, given my life to the Lord, and now I live for Him, and I believe that He's going to make a way for this to be possible.
Any questions from commissioners?
One from
Randall Callis. I've been in the car business 29 years, with Cumberland for about 8. And Ms. Davis contacted me, I guess, in early summer and was inquiring about a job, sales position job at our dealership. And of course, we're always looking for good salespeople, knowing that she was moving to the area and her background as a salesperson in the field already kind of made it appealing to me. We talked several times on the phone, and then when she came up to Cookville, with her in person, talked to her about background, and impressed with her, and two product specialist, and done a great job, very good job, great with customers, and has gotten along very good with the staff and upper management. So don't have any problem hiring her. Would love.
Questions? Either one of them. I'll entertain a motion from.
1 or 2 questions for Ms. Davis. Can you expand upon it says theft of property? Can you give us a little bit more information of what happened, what the situation, circumstances were?
Yeah, it was a dealing in stolen property. Somebody had stole some jewelry from a home, and I was the one that pawned it, and it came back on me pretty much. There's nothing really more. That's what happened. And of course, like I said, this was all led up to because I was in active addiction, and we do stupid things when we're trying to chase after those substances. And unfortunately, it caught up to me, and I believe that I've paid my dues for it, and I'm just trying to. I live right now. I've had a steady job with car sales for over 3 years, and completely turned everything around.
You make full restitution?
Yes, ma'am. Completely.
And no other issues since this?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Other questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we grant the license.
Commissioner Jackson, second it.
Further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
Motion is to grant licensure. Commissioner Speaker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton? Votes aye. Commissioner Elam?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. The motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Next case is Marvel Brooks.
Yes, Mr. Brooks submitted an application for a salesperson's license. He did answer yes to having had a criminal conviction. That is a conviction of first-degree robbery, which is a crime of moral turpitude. The 5-year period, as required by the Motor Vehicle Statute under Fresh Start Act, would be up in September of 2029.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, will you like to tell us your story?
I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. I went to school at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Upon my graduation, me and a couple of friends were going to open a business. And for whatever reason, we decided to dissolve that, and we had a few items from the business, upon which I was convicted of robbery for taking those items. I realized the mistakes I made, and sometimes as a young man, as a young boy trying to be a man, kind of let our pride get in our way, and we do things that we shouldn't be done. I realized that there were better ways going about dividing up the property from the dissolved business. And that happened to me. It kind of just threw my whole life off of rails, because I had just got accepted into PA school and into PT school. And now that I'm out, I realized just the gravity of what I did and how it affected my life. I can't go back to PT school. I can't go to PA school. And I'm just looking for a chance to kind of better my life and get back on the right path and support myself.
Questions for him at this moment?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a few questions. Can you expand upon the circumstances of the crime? What was it? You're trying to start a business?
Yes, ma'am. We were going to start a car detailing business in New York. And for whatever reason, where there was funding, some of our groups, it was 3 of us, didn't have the funding or didn't want to no longer pursue the business. And so all of the stuff that we did have, computers, printers, washers, and stuff like that, we kind of got into this big argument over the property, at which point we all had like a big fight, and I ended up taking like computer, the printer, some other partners took certain things, and then that's what happened.
So who pressed the charges?
Who pressed the charges was the majority owner of the item, Logan Jones, one of my business partners.
Are you in contact with them anymore?
No, ma'am.
And have you made full restitution? For
I have.
anything that
Everything was returned.
Okay. Have you been in trouble since then?
No, ma'am.
And have you ever appeared before the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission before?
No, ma'am.
Did you bring someone with you?
I did.
Okay. Would he like to come up and address us at this time? Will, state your name and your position in the store.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Lewis. I'm actually not at CarMax where he is. I own a small dealership here in Jackson, Tennessee. Also, I came before y'all 10 years ago. Y'all gave me a position. I ended up being sales manager, general sales manager over a Toyota and Nissan store for Car Lock. 2 years ago, I left, opened my own little lot. I've employed hundreds of salespeople. I've never came up here for anybody because even though I'm a felon, I see most people don't do great. Never. Now I own my own lot, very small.
A little closer, just a little.
I now own my own lot, small one-person business. Mr. Brooks got home. He came to my lot 3 days in a row, having friends, brother, family members coming, and he didn't just go to my place. He went to multiple places, just asking for a job. saying he'd do anything. First, I blew him off like, no, whatever, because like I said, I'm a small place. I'm salesperson, finance person, everything. So after the third day, I ended up giving him a chance. This man, I'm talking about day and night, will do anything I ask, work harder than anyone will ever want. Washing cars, moving cars, driving, doing whatever I needed. And through the process, he got, you know how it is, people come in spurts, it'd be a lot of people. He got to where he tried to help me out and just talk to customers, and he's really personable, a great guy. So I took him to CarMax actually and talked him into trying to be a salesperson, telling him I think he'd be really great. I'm wanting him to learn it a little bit. Honestly, I'm not where I'm at to employ a bunch of people yet, but within the next few years, I want to be. And I see Mr. Brooks as somebody I would literally put running my store when I get to that level. Great person. Like I said, I've been through here and I've never vouched for anybody. It's my first time coming, and I would literally employ him doing anything right now with full respect and responsibility. He has a great family, great backing. He's there day and night. He has keys to my store. You know, I trust him fully. So even like right now, when it's denied, CarMax said, well, you got to finish this. We'll give you the opportunity, but you got to get this fixed right. So he's helping me right now until this is cleared, and when it's clear, he's at CarMax. So that's why I'm here. I want to vouch, and I will hire him at any point to do whatever, salesperson or whatever. I fully back him completely, and he has my full everything.
Thank you for your comments. Questions?
Commissioner Jackson, is he applying for the license for his dealership? I didn't.
No, I believe it's for CarMax.
Okay, thank you.
What's Lewis Motors? If he's applying for CarMax.
Mr. Galvin, what's the name of your dealership?
Lewis Motors LLC.
Lewis Motors. Yes. So if we accept his license, does that mean you're going to quit CarMax and go work for him just like that?
No, sir. That's what I'm saying. I'm a one-person small lot. He was washing cars for me just to have a job. When I realized he could sell, he's a great person, great personal. I took him to CarMax and talked to the manager there and got him the job. He's going to work there. I'm one person lot. I couldn't employ him right now as a salesperson. I don't have that position. He's going to work there. Franchise it is. Know him. Wanted to come. Whatever.
Hey,
Commissioner Jackson, I'm asking the staff. So he's going to work for CarMax, but he's working for CarMax now. We'll make sure. Okay.
But the appeal request form says Lewis Motors.
Right. So can we grant a license for Lewis Motors, and he's going to work for CarMax? I'm a little bit confused.
It would just.
This is the first time I've seen it where it's got a different name.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize. I think there is some confusion, but I think what Mr. Brooks and Mr. Lewis are trying to say is that Mr. Brooks has a position at CarMax. Mr. Lewis is here as his witness because he knows him. He has a very small lot, can't really employ him himself, but he went and got him the position at CarMax instead of having virtually strangers come in to vouch for him. He's got Mr. Lewis, who also has some personal experience with that sort of thing. So it is unusual, but I think just so everyone understands, he does have a job at CarMax.
And I think perhaps the confusion here was that Mr. Lewis is coming as a character reference in a way of sponsoring the appeal. That's my understanding, at least from the forms. I don't think there's an intent to work for him, and as we've heard on the record just now as well.
Commissioner Galvin, Mr. Brooks, for a young man to come up here by yourself and not have a manager or supporter from CarMax, it's pretty strong looking at all the commissioners here and you're telling your story, and I believe you. Then you have a good witness here. I think that's good character on your part doing this, even though you didn't bring anybody from CarMax. So with that in mind, I would recommend Mr. Brooks his sales license.
Jackson, second.
Further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
The motion to grant licensure for Mr. Brooks was made by Commissioner Galvin, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Speaker?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Elam? That's aye. Commissioner Barker? That's aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. The motion carries. It's unanimous. You will be granted licensure, and we will email you an electronic copy. We do have your email address, correct? Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Y'all for giving me this chance. So.
But, all right, I think that concludes the appeals. So we will move to let Executive Director Lawrence give us your report, and also add in there comments about the book, the little rules book.
I will do that.
Okay.
This is the director's report. We are steadily maintaining our numbers as from the last quarterly meeting. We continue to license people really in less than a day. Continue to be very proud of my staff. They do a phenomenal job. We have we do all these satisfaction ratings and things like that, and we have basically a satisfaction rating of about 97%. Let's see, I put some stuff in there about our performance and about how we license people. So also I wanted to let you all know that we went to the NAMBIC conference back in September. Commissioner Norton was there as well with us and spoke to the group, and Chairman Roberts came as well. I think it was a very informative session, and I met a lot of people from across the nation. It was a good thing. I hope I'll be involved in that going forward. The last thing I will mention is that I did order our LexisNexis books that will have just our section of the code in them, along with our rules at the front. I had really anticipated that I would have those in hand to give everyone today, but as government works so slowly, and apparently we had to go through a lot of hoops, I was told on Monday that my request had to go to the comptroller's office and was at the comptroller's office, and that might take a while. So I actually called someone I knew at the comptroller's office, and it was approved that day. And so now it is in the hands of LexisNexis, and I should have them hopefully within the month. And I'm either going to personally deliver them to you or I'm going to mail them out to you. So everybody will have a copy of that.
Very good.
And now I think we need a motion on adoption of the director's report, and it's up to you whether you want to do a roll call vote or not.
Commissioner Jackson, motion that we adopt the director's report.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
I don't think we'll have to do a roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. One of my pages. Oh, here it is. The next will be legal report adoption. Commissioner Jackson, you want to cover that with us?
And I have the changes listed if you want me to.
Yes, yeah. We're going to turn it over to Attorney Hilton.
Thank you. Okay, so there are 4 changes that were made during the committee meeting. First was 15. We're going to add a letter of warning as well to that recommendation. 18, we're going to additionally refer that matter over to law enforcement so they can further investigate it to see if a secondary complaint needs to be opened. 63, we're going to add an additional $500 civil penalty for false, fraudulent, and deceptive acts. And 75, we're additionally going to refer to the Department of Revenue.
I missed 66. I had a letter of warning. Oh, 66.
Let me pull that up. I didn't have that one down.
It got voted down.
Oh yes, that's the one that was voted on. Yes. Just my record 15, 18, 63, and 75. Yes, thank you.
I was trying to slide one in on you.
I still feel good.
With that said, Chairman Roberts, I motion that we adopt the legal report with the correction.
Very good.
With the amendments.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Further discussion. Let's have a roll call vote on it.
The motion is to adopt the legal report as amended. Commissioner Speaker?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Elam?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
That's aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. The legal report as amended is adopted.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is any legislative updates?
None at this time.
Okay. And no
Well,
committee
Roberts,
reports? Excuse me.
It's a disciplinary action report on the document here.
Yeah, disciplinary action.
Action report.
It's just FYI.
Oh, okay.
That was attached to the director's, I have it attached to the director's report.
Okay.
That's just an FYI, which is included, the total penalties to be recouped are listed on the director's report.
And committee reports, we don't have any at this time I'm aware of. And any new business? Old business? We can move for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Weirdos.
Don't think they would dare.